Yeah, that's roughly the response I'd think I'd have after going back over 200 time leaps. I looked at the phone I was holding in my hand. The date read January 31st, 2011. No doubt about it. I was back. I'd finally made it back. I'd gone back through so many years. I'd done thousands of time leaps. Gone through the war. I'd almost died. I thought of giving up a bunch of times. But each time, I remembered it all. That ruined world. The piles of corpses. The screams. The shouting. The dripping blood. And Daru and Maho and how they'd sent me off. After a long, unimaginably long time, I finally made it back to this time. Ocarina? Did you get some bad news or something? Huh? You've been kind of spacing out since you picked up the phone. No, that's not it. That's not it. Mayuri was here. You still thinking about New Year's, Miyobi? Faris was here. She really fucking stretched that one, didn't she? Why didn't she go with New Year's? For the love of God, even now I'm doing these cat jokes better than she is. Get a hold of yourself, man. And Daru. But where's the important one? Where's my boyfriend? And Lukako. Thank fuck. And Suzuha. I care slightly less about that one. Oh, hi, Kagari. It's so child you. You were cuter. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Maho and Kagari were here too. Are you feeling tired after what we did earlier? Earlier? You know, when we took the samples of your memories for Amadeus. Oh, right. Daru had mentioned that. He'd said it was at the end of January. No, that's it. It's just, you know. Kagari? What is it, Ocarina? You still can't remember what happened since you came to this time. Yeah. I see. Why do you ask? No reason. I just wanted to make sure. What? You're being weird, Ocarina. Since I'd come from the future, I knew. In this world line, Kurisu's memories no longer existed inside Kagari's head. But it doesn't really bother me anymore, though. I mean, Mommy's here, and Luke is here, and Bix's Rumi's here, too. There's lots of food, too. So, maybe I don't need to force myself to remember. I see. Maybe that was fine for now. But the future was going to be filled with sorrow. For Mayuri, for Faris, especially for Lukako, for Daru, for Suzuha, for Kagari, and for Maho. Did I really make the right choice when I decided to let Kurisu die? After everyone had left, I was alone, and all the exhaustion came crashing down on me. I time-lapsed 3,000 times. I thought I'd be able to work things out in my head along the way, but I'd been so desperate to return to the past that I hadn't had time. My mind was worn down after all the time leaps. I thought I'd made my decision, but I found myself wavering again and again. I'd only managed to do it by telling myself that I had to get back before I could make any decisions. And now my head just felt so tired. What should I do now? What should I do? For now, I didn't want to think about anything. But I felt too awake to even sleep. With everyone gone, the temperature in the lab quickly dropped. It was freezing. But it was nothing compared to the cold I'd felt before. That world I'd seen right after I'd erased Kurisu's memories from Kagari. Kurisu was there. Mayuri was there. Everyone was there. It was a scene from that very brief peace I'd had during that summer. But that would have been so cold. And now I knew why. That was the world I'd experienced when I was asleep, existing only as data. A world built only of ones and zeros. Like being alive even when you're dead, or being forced to stay alive even though you were dead. The people I loved were there, but there was no warmth. I could reach out and touch them, but there wasn't even a little bit of warmth. It was like floating in a deep, dark space without any light at all. And Makase Kurisu was now experiencing that too. She was all alone in a cold world, without the slightest trace of warmth. I raised my hand up under the fluorescent light. I could see the veins rising up out of it, and the red blood flowing into them. I was alive. There was warmth. But could I really say that I was alive? Now that my memories had been digitized, after being exposed to that cold world, could I still really be called human? I heard a knock at the door and turned my eyes toward it. Maho was standing there. Hyejo? I thought you went home. I forgot something. Forgot something?
Anyway, what are you doing here all by yourself?
Maho showed no signs of looking for whatever she had lost. Instead, she came right up and sat down in front of me.
You've had that pensive look on your face for a long time now. Something bothering you?
Maybe she'd been worried enough to come back and check on me?
I can't take Kurisu's place. I can still talk to you if you want.
Hyejo. There was no need to worry about whether I could tell her or not. I needed to make the time leap machine. And for that, she needed to hear everything. It's not exactly easy to believe, but will you listen to me anyway?
Sheesh, what's your problem?
That was the first thing she'd said after I finished. Just like last time, it wasn't something that was easy for her to believe. But Maho must have sensed something in the way I spoke, because she listened until I finished. She interrupted me whenever there was something she didn't understand. She was especially interested in the time machine and the time leaps. I told her everything I knew about them. Will you believe me?
I don't have a choice after seeing the look on your face. And after seeing this too.
Hyejo.
This answers something I've always wondered about. Kurisu died only a short while after coming to Akihabara. Could you really have gotten to know her in that short span of time? Especially knowing how she was, right? I thought something must have gone on for her to get so close to a boy that fast.
So that was it, she whispered to herself.
And? So what's on your mind?
I turned away from her.
Okabe?
Am I... me?
What do you mean?
You heard what I said, right? My memories were turned into data and stored on a hard drive. You could call them artificial memories if you wanted. Can you really say that I'm me anymore? Can you really say that I'm alive? There was blood running through my body. But what was in my head had been changed into zeros and ones. Didn't that make me no different from Amadeus?
That's what's bothering you? That's stupid.
Maho just laughed at my worries.
Have you ever heard of a philosophical zombie?
It's a thought experiment, right? Something that looks and behaves just like a human but lacks consciousness and emotions. And whether or not you could objectively distinguish it from a human. I hesitated a little as I answered her sudden question.
Well, that's basically right.
She nodded, satisfied like a teacher would do.
And let's say that right here there was an AI that looked just like a human. It looks like a human and acts like one too. When someone's in trouble, it reaches out to help them. And when it's sad, it cries. Maybe those are just programmed processes, but humans are no different. Everyone thinks and reacts in accordance with their own individual processes. We just happen to call these processes things like consciousness and feelings.
I thought I understood what Maho was trying to say. In other words, AIs have feelings too?
At least we scientists are doing our best to create them.
She puffed out her chest with pride.
So, Okabe? Do you think you're not an AI with emotions?
If they looked just like a person and thought just like them, and had feelings too, they were a person. No.
Right? It's memories that make someone who they are anyway. Memories are everything people haven't experienced since they were born. So, Okabe Rintaro, even if your memories were once data, you've got your body in your mouth. You've got your own body and your own memories. You're a human. You're Okabe Rintaro. And don't worry about it.
Hyojo.
Well, anyway, doesn't Kurisu's time machine digitize data to send it back in time? So is there any need to worry about this now?
That was what Daru told me in the future too. But strangely, when she said it, it made me feel better.
Maybe Kurisu would have been able to come up with a better way to put it, but...
No, that's not true. This was more than enough. Maho had given her opinion, as a brain scientist, that I was still me. There was a strength in her words, just like there had been in Kurisu's when she'd driven me forward. I remembered what Maho had said before.
You're a genius, and in the end, I'm just Salieri.
She'd been speaking to the memories of Kurisu inside of Kaguri. But... Hyojo, you're not Salieri.
Huh?
You're Amadeus. That's right. I'm here, right now. I'm alive. I'm here in this time. Not in that cold sea of black data. I'm here in this time. A light came on in the darkness. My cold heart began to warm. But... Kurisu. She was still trapped inside that world. Inside that sterile, lifeless world that froze you to the depths of your soul. Even after her death, her memories were still alive. and there were all kinds of conspiracies forming around her living memories. Even after she lost her body, Kurasu's pain continued. No, it wasn't just Kurisu. Kagari and Suzuha, and in the future, Mayuri, Faris, Lukako, and Daru too. Everyone was suffering. Everyone was miserable, but still they had to try and move forward. All I cared about was whether Mayuri survived. I thought that even if the Third World War came, no matter what happened to the world, as long as Mayuri was happy, that was all that mattered. I tried to think that. I thought that no matter how much blood and tears awaited us in the future, as long as things were fine now, that was all that mattered. I thought I'd understood. I thought I'd understood how awful the future that Suzuha described was, and how hard Daru and Suzuha would have to fight. I thought I understood all that. Suzuha firing her gun and staining her hands with blood like it was nothing at all. Mayuri and Faris, pale and colourless. Lukako lying on the ground and never getting up again. Kagari and the others, whose lives were ruined by fate. I'd seen them all with my own eyes and touched them with my own hands, and then I finally understood. I'd been only pretending to know so I could run away. I told myself that I was going to die in 2025 and looked the other way. 2025. I wasn't dead. Everyone just thought so. Everyone had been deceived. That's right, deceived. Me in the past, and everyone else in the future. The world was deceived. I thought that the future was settled, but a different future awaited me. The path to Steins Gate is a hard one. Trying again once or twice probably won't get you there. But I think starting there is the best way to get to it. That's what you said 11 years ago. So this world we're in isn't wasted. It's a world that we need. At least that's what I think. I had no way of knowing what would make me say that 14 years from now. All I knew was that 14 years from now, I know this day was coming. So maybe I should just do what I said. If that future in 2036 was necessary, then maybe a world where Kurisu was released from her electronic prison was necessary too. No matter how hard the path would be, I had to take the first step. And what I needed right now was to take that first step. Hiyasho.
What?
Can you help me a little bit more before you go back to America?
Okay, but on two conditions.
Conditions?
First, you let me have a look at that time machine.
And second?
You're going to let me call you Okarin. You'll call me Maho. I don't think they're too much, do you?
There was an innocent smile on her face, the likes of which I'd never seen before. Alright, Maho.
Thanks, Okarin.
When she put her small hand against mine, I felt a solid warmth.
What is it, Okarin? Why didn't you call me back after I already left?
That's right. I don't live that close to here. If you wanted to talk about something, you should have just said so before I left. I called all the lab members back after they'd left to go home, and they weren't happy.
So, what did you want to talk about, Okarin? Is it something you couldn't tell us on the Rhine or the phone?
Yeah. But first, Suzuha. What?
一つ聞きたい。
I have a question.
お前は俺のことを
What do you think about me?
どう思っている？
どうとは
Oh, what do you mean?
オカリン
Wait, Ocarine, you can't!
いくらオカリンでも
Even for you, Ocarine, I'm not giving you Suzuha.
お父さんは
Daddy wouldn't allow it. Never!
絶対
I ignored Daru, who seemed to have gotten the wrong idea completely, and turned back towards Suzuha.
お前はこの半年
You've been watching
俺
me
のこ
since
とを見
last
ていた
summer.
はずだ。
What have you been thinking about me?
その上で
I want your honest
心
opinion.
の中ではどう思っていた？
言っていいのか
You're sure?
あ、
Yeah.
正直言うと
To be honest, you've been pissing me off. Yeah, that was honest. I chuckled.
私や父さんや
It's not just
マユ姉さん
me.
だけじゃない
Dad, Bix's Mayu.
ルカ兄さん
It's
も
Bix's
カガリ
Rumi and brother Luca and Kagari.
未来の世界では
In the future, everyone
みんな
suffers.
辛い思いをして
They
いる
don't even know if they're gonna be alive tomorrow.
明日は生きてい
They
るか
might
どう
die
かもわから
horribly,
ない
like my mom did.
母さんみたいに無残に殺されてしまうかもしれないそんな世界で
And they're always trying their best to survive anyway.
それなのに
But all you do is whine and act like you're the only
自
person
分
in the
ばか
world
りが
with
辛いようなこ
problems.
とを言って
When she started talking, she didn't stop. This must have been building for a long time.
もちろん
Of course, I know you've been through a lot. I know you've suffered again and again, but until you finally couldn't go on.
それでも
But you're all we
私たち
have,
には
Uncle
オカリンおじさ
Ocarin.
んしか頼れる人がいないんだ
She looked down, clenched her fists, and grit her teeth.
私や父さんに代わりが
If I could
務ま
take
る
your
のな
place,
ら
I'd do anything.
どんなことでもや
No
る
matter what I had to go through, and no matter how much it hurt, I'd do it.
どんな苦しみが待ち構えていようがそれでも
スズハ
Suzuha.
だけど
But there's nothing we
私
can
たち
do.
じゃどうしようもできないか
You're the
ら
only one who can do
オ
anything.
カリンおじさんじゃなければどうにもできないから
She suddenly looked up, and I could see on her face all the complicated feelings she'd been holding back.
それなのにおじさんと来
All
た
you
ら
do is talk about how it's impossible, or you can't do it, or you don't want to. You just whine, and you won't even listen to me.
話を聞いてくれようとさえしない父さんの手前だから
I never said anything because Dad was around, but
私
you've
は
always
そんな
pissed me
態
off.
度にずっと腹が立ってた本当に
A lot of the time, I just wanted to punch you. It probably felt good to get that off her chest.
スズハ何もそこまで
Suzuha, you probably didn't need to go that far.
そうだに
Yeah, that's right. The Ocarina understands, yeah. I did understand. Yeah. I understood that something had to be done.
だったら
Then why not do it?
そうする
Do what?
殴りたかったんだろう。
You wanted to hit me, right?
だったら
Then hit me.
殴ってみればいい。
Huh?
でも
But
遠慮はいらない。
no need to hold back.
すずさんやめて
Susan, stop it. Ocarina is...
いいんだ。
It's fine, Mayori. This is my way of settling things. With Suzuha. With the future. And with myself.
オカリンさん
Ocarina,
もしかして
is
そういう性
that
癖
your fetish?
だったら止めんけど
Then I guess I won't stop you, but
本当にいいんだな
you're really sure? Suzuha took a step forward to me.
あ
Yeah. I was ready.
じゃあ
All
本気で
right.
行く
This is gonna hurt.
あ。え
No, wait.
yeah,
You
okay.
can go easy.
せい
ハグボ
What the fuck was that kind of noise? She hit me hard enough to knock me across the room.
悪かった
Oh,
少
sorry.
し力が入りすぎ
Guess
た
I put a little too much force into it.
今すごい音したわよ
I just heard a really loud crunch. Are you okay, Ocarina? Everyone ran over and looked down at me. Yep, that hurt a lot. It probably did more damage to my brain than reading Steiner or the time leaps. But... Suzuha, I can't fucking see properly.
Okabe?
It woke me up. Now I just had to do what I could. Oh, that sounds like real me coming back, boys.
Okarin?
Okarin? Oh, Lord, he back.
Is that Kyoma? Okarin?
違うぞ
No, Mayuri.
ほーい
I am Hyoin Kyoma. Kyoma?
そうだ
Yes! My name is Hyoin Kyoma!
今日だラボメンナンバー
Lab Mem number 1! The founder of this lab! The man who longs for chaos! And the mad scientist who will upend the ruling hierarchy of the world! Hyoin Kyoma!
ルカコ
Lukako! Right.
白衣を持て
Bring me my white lab coat!
Right, okay. I mean Kyoma. Kyoma! Kyoma's back here! Dad? What is this?
やったな鈴葉
You did it, Suzuha! Okarin's finally ready to fight!
Here you are, Kyoma.
うむ
Indeed! I put on my lab coat for the first time in a very long time. It had been sitting on the shelf in the back so long that it smelled a little moldy.
そう
That's right! This is it! My holy silver armor!
の鎧
And this moment, Hyoin Kyoma has awakened! He is revived from his long slumber! Don't ask questions, Maho. This is perfectly normal. Kaguri and Maho were seeing Hyoin Kyoma for the first time, and they were shocked into silence.
What just happened? Did that punch drive him crazy? I remember now. Huh? Hyoin Kyoma. Mommy used to talk about him all the time. She said that someday Hyoin Kyoma would come back to life and bring light to our future. I'm having a really hard time keeping up with all of this.
おいそこの
You! The lolly! Really? I'm calling her that now. Hmm?
お前だお前
You! I'm talking to you!
You're not talking to me, are you?
この間にロリ
You're the only lolly here, aren't you?
Who are you calling a lolly?
貴様には
I give you the honor of being Lab Mem 009. You should be my servant and participate in our operations.
俺た
Why do I have to be your servant? And what the hell is a lab member?
名前の通り
Just like the name suggests, it means you're an official member of this lab. You must feel very honored.
Honored?
これから椎名
Next, Shina Kaguri!
貴様も
You're Lab Mem number 010. Got it!
な
Okay. Wait, Kyoma! We don't need to get the lab members, yeah?
Hmm? Paris and Lukako seemed upset. Come to think of it, I made them lab members in the Alpha World line, but not this one.
言っていなかった
I never told you, but of course, you are already lab members.
ルカコは
Lukako is 006, Faris is 007, and Suzuha is 008. Got it?
Yes, sir. I don't quite understand, but Roger.
なあオカリン
Wait, Ocarin? Who's 004 and 005?
が不在じゃん
Awkward question to ask Daru.
その2つには戦略
Those two numbers are reserved for Kurisu and Moeka. To be honest, I didn't like the idea of leaving Moeka as an official lab member. But in order to reach a future where that could be true, I'd have to face the past right now. That was my decision.
では全員が揃ったところ
Now that everyone's here, I have something to declare!
本日
As of today, January 31st, 2011,
日をもって
we will begin a new operation!
オペレーションを発動する目的は
Our goal is to annihilate the coming future, to overturn the future of the world itself.
返すこと
That is our goal. Got it?
俺たちの目的だいいな
俺だ
It's me.
これより
We will now execute our new
新たなオペレ
operation.
ーションを実行に移す未来の俺は言った
My future self told me that Steins Gate waits beyond several futures.
シュタインこれから導く未来が
Even if the future that awaits us is a path of
たとえ茨の道
thorns,
だとしても
it will not be useless.
分かっている
I know. It will take an incredible amount of time to reach the door we seek.
そこにたどり着くにはいかなる機関が
Many different organizations may rise up to stop us,
かもしれないそれでも俺は
but I'll start over as many times as it takes.
健闘を祈ってくれ
Pray for my success.
エル
Elsai Konkaru.
コングラウ
My god, it's been so fucking long since I'd said that. Legit thought you were Kurisu for a moment, Kagari. Don't look at me like that! After I finished my phone call, I realized that everyone was staring at me. Please don't look at me like that. I'm embarrassed too.
何それ
What did I just see?
これは
This is...
そう
I know, it's like a ceremony!
のようなものだ
儀式
A ceremony. Right.
Yes, this was a ceremony. A ceremony to stop my fears from getting the best of me again.
まさかオカリン
Wait,
さん
Ocarin, don't tell me you did that around
Anata.
Kurisu.
クリス相手にもそ
I'm not Okabe! I'm Kyoma!
今日まだ
ふざけているのは
Are you messing with me?
マホタン
Oh, Tan, don't give him too much of a hard time. He's still trying to figure things out.
そっかこれ
Oh, so this is you and Kyoma, huh?
そうだよ
That's right! He's the mad scientist of madness!
そんなのです
Oh god, I wish I actually picked some water up before I started this recording. Jesus Christ.
いにしえのアルケミスト
I'm the reincarnation of an ancient alchemist, yeah?
精神残魔流の師
He's
範
also
でもあ
master
る
of
んで
the
しょ
Senshin Zamma School. Wow!
ダメだ父さん
Sorry, Dad, I'm having trouble keeping up with all this.
ついていけない
Please don't stare at me like that. It's breaking my heart.
それで具体
So,
的には
what
どうする
exactly
つ
is
も
the
りなの
plan?
まず最初に
First, let me make something clear.
俺たちが
Our
最終的に目
goal,
指すの
our
は
final goal is a future where the
第三次
Third
世界
World
大
War
戦の
never
起こらない
occurs.
未来だ
Just like I told myself a second ago, I didn't expect to get the world line we wanted, the Steins Gate world line, immediately. Just like I had to build up to the Beta world line little by little, I'd have to go through many pasts and many futures. And to do that, I first had to write this world's future. The world had lost Kurisu, and the price for that was dire indeed. But I wouldn't let the future that awaited us be so full of suffering and pain. I wouldn't let it happen. Everything had to begin with that, even if the future before us would end up never happening at all. That was my responsibility since I'd chosen this world.
このベータ世界線においても
I've told you all that I've been through several world line changes since the coming to the beta world line, right? First, we need to remove the cause of those changes.
What is it, yeah?
Makase Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, and her memories that are stored on Amadeus. The time machine paper containing the hard drive and all her memories relating to it. All of those world line changes. It was safe to assume they'd all been caused by Stratfor and others fighting over them. Thus, our final goal of our operation is to destroy Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, and delete her memory data.
You can't delete Kurisu's memory data. You can't. Are you serious?
Yeah.
But those memories are all we have left of her. They're all we have to prove she was ever here. I don't want to delete them.
I knew how she felt. Until a few days ago, I would have agreed. Then are you okay with them being misused?
That's not...
On my way to this world line, I saw her memories start wars again and again. And many people have been caught up in that. Kagari was just one of them. What happened to Kagari in the past several years? That probably hadn't changed in this world line. Which meant that was just another tragedy caused by the Pandora's box that was Kurisu's memories. And I've experienced that world of data too. I've experienced its cold. That's right. I knew. I knew how cold that world was. It was a world inside a tiny box with no past, present, or future. You want to leave Kurisu in that cold, dark world forever? We've got proof that she existed right here. I put my finger to my head. We've got what we remember. And we've got the chance to build a peaceful world where the Third World War never happens. Isn't that all the proof that we need that she was alive? Maho fell silent as the whole group turned towards her.
That's really cheesy. If Kurisu heard that, she'd laugh at you.
I'm sure.
But maybe it's a cheesy cliche because it's true.
Maho's dark frown became a smile.
I'll do what you want me to.
Thank you. Daru, you've got Kurisu's laptop and hard drive, right? Yep, I got it from Maho-tan and hid it somewhere it wouldn't be found easily. As soon as we're done with Amadeus, destroy them. You're sure? He looked back at Maho and this time she nodded.
Yeah. But let me do it.
Okay. The problem now was Amadeus. Maho, do you still have access to the Amadeus server?
Yeah, I should. Hashida, can I borrow your computer?
Huh? Oh, sure. Just wait a second. Dara motioned for her to stop with one hand and then started typing something into the keyboard.
What are you doing, Darren-yan?
Just some tricks to make sure our IP isn't tracked. Okay, go ahead. Maho took over from Daru with the computer.
Huh? That's strange. I can't access it.
What do you mean? You mean you've got the wrong password?
I wouldn't make that mistake. Do you know how many times I've entered that password?
Maho tried the password a few more times, but she still couldn't access the server.
Looks like my access has been revoked. What's going on with this? I'll call the professor.
Maho took out her phone and called Dr. Leskinen. She put the phone next to her ear for a moment, then frowned and put it down.
No good. He's not picking up.
She tried calling Dr. Reyes too, but that didn't work either.
Jeez, what's going on with this thing?
Guess it wouldn't be that easy, huh? If Maho's access rights had been taken away, that must have meant someone was about to do something. Let's try another approach. Can you hack the Victor Condria University servers? Okay, just give me a second.
You're making it sound easy. Our lab security's pretty tight.
Don't worry. Daru's a super hacker. You mean hacker, man? He broke CERN security in just 20 hours. I had absolute faith in him. Daru and Maho were staring at the screen and discussing something. He was probably asking her for details to make his hacking more efficient. I needed to do what I could while I waited. I went back into the development room and opened a box that had just arrived that day. Mayuri looked over my shoulder into the box.
Oh, it's a microwave!
I'm not using it to heat up your fried chicken, okay?
Too bad. I was gonna make some juicy chicken #1 for everyone if they were hungry.
I thought they were like packaged meals. I didn't know it was something you could prep for everyone. First, I needed to reconstruct the foam wave. After that, I'd have Maho help me make the time leap machine. On my way back from the future, I memorized every bit of how it works, so it didn't take very long.
Ashida, you're amazing.
It was about 30 minutes later when I heard Maho's awed voice. Did you get it? For a top quality hacker like me, this was nothing. The name Super Hacker isn't just for show, huh? Alright, see if you can find Amadeus' data.
Hold on, I'm opening it now.
I swallowed and looked at the screen as I listened to the mouse click.
It's gone. Amadeus, Cursor's memories, all the folders that should be there are gone.
So someone already took it away? Wait. I unlocked my phone and called up the home screen. Amadeus' icon was still there. Hey, do you think you could access Amadeus from this app? Maho looked over at my phone.
I don't know. If Amadeus' data has come from the server, I don't think it would work. Give it a try. What's wrong?
I was just thinking about what I'd do if it connected. I need to be careful.
That's right. Someone might be watching you.
What is it, Daru? Look, there's a folder with another lock on it.
Which one?
Maho leaned forward and stared at the monitor.
That's strange. That didn't used to be there before.
It's pretty heavily secured. Way more than the rest of the system.
Was that where Amadeus was moved? But who would do that? Only Dr. Leskinen had that level of self-authority.
Maybe Dr. Leskinen's up to something and we don't know it. Or maybe something happened to him. Neither possibility was appealing. Daru, we'll leave that folder alone for now. Next, I want you to hack Strat4's servers. Huh? Strat4? Why? They were probably involved in all this. You've done it once before. Can you do it again? Wait, how did you know that? You psychic? Who do you think I am? The mad scientist of madness knows all. Give me a sec, he says as he types something else into the computer. Stratfor servers. Got it. I could tell he'd done it once before. This time he got through a lot faster than it took him to break into the university. So you want me to find data on that Amadeus system?
Hold on!
Maho leaned her tiny body forward again and took the mouse from Daru. She clicked on an icon. The screen was filled with some kind of text.
This is a report.
She opened several more files, but since they were written in English, we couldn't read them.
What is this?
What are these reports about?
Experiments. Stratfor was experimenting on humans.
Experimenting on humans?
It looks like Stratfor was working on human memory transplantation. They did a lot of experiments trying to transfer memories from one person to another.
Memory transplant experiments. That was...
They started with animals, but by the end they were using live humans.
Is that why there were a shit ton of gorillas with their brains, like, missing? Because I feel like that plot thread was not resolved at any point. There was just a woman doing a report on it, and then it was just like, I'm back to reality.
They used people with no relatives as subjects. Kids, adults, people from different ethnic backgrounds.
She looked down at the report again. What is it? Is there something else?
It looks like they're about to start a new memory transplant experiment.
It was safe to assume the experiments had something to do with the time machine. They were trying to force open the black box of Kurisu's memories in order to gain information about the time machine. Even if they couldn't get the password from the laptop from Amadeus, they could access her memories directly. It would give them everything they needed. It was just like what had been done to Kagari in the Last World line, but on a more advanced level. Our priority right now is finding Kurisu's memory data. Daru, think it's there? He took the mouse back from Maho and sighed. Nope. No, look, I'm not seeing anything. What was going on? Hadn't Stratfor stolen the Amadeus data from Victor Kronria? That university server is the most suspicious. The one with the locked folder. Which meant that they were working without stealing the data? Did they hack it like we did? Or... What's the plan? We'll believe Maho. Daru, can you get us in? I can, but it's gonna be a pain. How long is it gonna take? Couldn't tell you. Might take more than 12 hours. If Daru had said so, then it must be really heavily protected. And if they catch me hacking halfway through, it's all over. We needed to hack in to get rid of Kurisu's memory data. And until Daru finished, we need to keep Stratfor distracted. Problem was, how? What happens to my location when I'm talking to Amadeus?
It all gets recorded. Of course, the people who got Amadeus' program can see it.
I thought so.
The question is, do I contact her or not?
First, I needed to see if the app even worked anymore. If it did, I had an idea.
真帆
Maho,
一つ
can I ask you to do
無
something
茶な頼
crazy?
みをしていいか
A full day had passed since the operation began. Daru still hadn't managed to break the lock on that folder. Thankfully, they hadn't detected him yet, but that didn't mean we were safe. While Daru did his work, I finished my own and then handed the rest off to Maho. My actions might have changed the future already, but we still had our jobs to do. Suzuha had her arms crossed, expression stern. She'd been that way for a while. At a glance, she looked calm, but I could see her tapping her arm with her index finger.
おじさん私たちにでき
Uncle,
ること
is
は
there
ない
nothing I can do?
We were finally ready to stop the Third World War. It had to bother her that there was nothing she could do. It had to be stopped as soon as possible, but all she could do now was wait. She was frustrated and on edge. That was true of everyone else.
もう少しだ
Just wait a little longer. Daru and Maho are doing their best. Once Maho completed what I'd asked for, there would be something we could do too.
フェリス甘いものとか
I'm gonna get us something sweet to eat, yeah.
甘いものが
Sweets are great when you're tired, yeah.
それじゃあ
Oh,
僕も
then I'll go too.
Just as the two of them stood up, the development room's curtain opened. Maho flinched a little as everyone stared at her, but quickly smiled. Then she thought better of it and tried to look more serious.
まったく
Sheesh.
大変なことをいっぺ
You
んに
didn't have
頼
to
ま
ask
な
me
い
to
でよ
do
ね
this all at once, did you?
すまん
Sorry.
それで
So, is it
終
done?
わったのか
言われたことは一応
I
ね
did what you told me to, I guess.
The microwave in the back was connected to a different headset than the one I'd seen last year. It was the same one as she'd used to take my memories. That's why she'd been able to finish this in such a short time. A time leap machine. So it was done then. Now, even if I had to time leap from the future, I could go back to 48 hours from now.
それからこっちも
And this too.
She offered me a pair of smartphones. These gadgets will be our secret weapons in the upcoming battle. I had Maho make them too. They used a simple AI to create a pseudo-response algorithm that would deceive our opponents.
さすがだな
Wow.
こんな短時間
I
で
can't believe you managed to make an AI in such a short time.
自分で頼んでおいて
You're the one who told me to do it.
Her face looked exhausted.
アマデウスで使っている音声ソフトが
I
あ
had
っ
the
たから
voice software I use for
流用
Amadeus,
して
so I
開
was able
発
to
期間
build
を
it
短
quicker.
縮したのそれにこれは
And
AI
this isn't
なんて
anything as
大層な代物
complicated
じ
as
ゃ
an
ない
AI.
こんなものでごまか
Do
せ
you
るの
really
かし
think
ら
you can fool her with this?
相手は
It's Corsa we're talking
Chris
about
no.
here.
少しの時間だけでも騙せれば
We just
それ
have
で
to
いいんだ
deceive her for a short time.
誰のハッキングか
All we need to do is keep their eyes off Daru's hacking.
それでいい
The goal was just to keep Stratfor confused. We didn't need to hold a long conversation. We just hook it up for a short time and end the call shortly afterwards. It was time to get started. But first... I hit the send button on a message I'd already typed to Kiryu Moeka. Once it was done, I turned toward the group.
では
I will now explain the operation. Suzuha, Mayuri, Faris, Lukako. I offer them the phones I'd just been given by Maho.
4人には2人
I'm going to have you pair off.
そうしたらこのスマホを
And I want you to take these phones and move around the city.
ペア同士はできるだけ離れた方
It would be best to have the pairs as far apart as
片方の
possible.
組は
One can take the Chuo line, and the other can take the Yamanote line.
山手線沿線ということお互いに連絡を取り合いつつ
Stay in touch, and use the app on the phones called Amadeus.
アマデウスというアプリを立ち上げてくれ
While Daru was doing his hacking, I had left Akihabara and tried to contact Amadeus from Tokyo Station. And it had worked. Corso had responded. I cut off instantly, but I was sure of it. The app was still working. And his plan was going to use it.
What do we do once it's running?
アマデウスは
Amadeus is an AI made from the memories of a girl named Makase Kurisu.
人工知能だ。俺たちは
We're going to deceive
今
her.
からそいつを騙す。
That's right. Our goal was to deceive Kurisu. When we contacted Amadeus, the enemy would know where we were. Our plan was to take advantage of that fact.
アマデウスを立ち上げると同時に
When you boot up the Amadeus app, it will start another program too.
もう一つのプログラム
What's the other program, yeah?
そこの S ってマークのあるアイコンを
Can you hit the
タップ
icon
してみてもらえ
VS right there?
と
This, yeah?
Faris tapped her phone.
もしもし俺だ。
Hello, it's me.
Oh, it's Okarin's voice!
話しかけてみてくれ。
Try talking to it.
今日はどうしたんだにゃ
What's up, yeah?
特に用はないんだ。
Nothing really. I just wanted to talk to you a little.
話がしたくなってな。
すごい
Wow,
自
it
動的に
automatically
答えて
answers,
くれる
huh?
んですね
What I'd asked Maho to make was a simple program that detected words and phrases in a conversation and replied with a set of patterns. It's what you call an artificial non-intelligence.
オカリンさんと私のボット
It's a bot made by Okarin
名
and
付けて
myself.
サリエリよ
We call it Salieri.
Thanks to the famous movie, Salieri was known as a lesser man with an inferiority complex. But in reality, he was a very talented composer. It felt a bit rude to the real Salieri to give his name to something like this. But there wasn't time to worry about that now.
アマデウスを起動すると
Once you activate Amadeus, our bot is set to automatically respond to it.
つまり相手
In
に
other words,
今
we can
喋
make
って
them
いる
talk.
のは
We can make them
岡部さん
think
だ
that
って
it's you
思わ
talking.
せるということですか
そういうことだ。
That's right. Which meant Amadeus would think I was where they were. I would have liked to have more terminals, but since Amadeus needed the cell phone to be registered with its systems, there weren't many I could use. All I had were my phone and Maho's, but for a short time period it would be enough. Of course, Maho's phone had her own version of Salieri. And then there was the message I'd sent to Moeka's Rhine. The plan was for her to spread information indicating that Maho and I had Kurisu's laptop and hard drive. Even if they were doing the memory experiments, they still wouldn't want someone else getting their hands on them. Sooner or later, they'd pick up on that information and come after me with everything they had. Amadeus was in their hands. If Amadeus's location data told them I was there, they'd come looking. But we wouldn't be there at all. And then they'd gotten a call from someplace completely different and head there. The plan was to keep them occupied with that, and keep their eyes off the server hacking.
以上が
That's your mission. Everyone nodded.
くれぐれも言っておくが
I'll say again,
アマデウスと
you
の
must
長時間の
absolutely
接触
not
を
make contact with Amadeus for an extended period of time.
それからアマデ
And
ウス
once
を
you
切
hang
った
up, you need to move.
すぐに
If
その
something
場を移動
happens,
す
call me immediately.
これだけは絶対に守って
You need to do these things no matter what.
分かった
Got it?
私は
What should I
どうすれば
do?
いいのかな
Kaguri raised her hand hesitantly.
君は連中に顔も知られてい
They
る
know your face. You should stay
動か
here.
ない方がいい
でも
But I would help too.
何か役に立
I
ち
don't
たい
want
よ
to do nothing while mommy and everyone else are
みんなが
helping.
頑張ってる中で一人何もできないでいるなんて
Well, this was a problem.
嫌だよお願いオカリン
Please,
さん
Okarin, let me help
私にも
too.
手伝わせて
I understood how she felt. But I still couldn't put her in danger.
すまないが
I'm sorry, but
かがりちゃん
Kaguri,
まゆし
Mayushi's gonna work hard for you too, so do as Okarin says, okay?
オカリンの言う通りにしてマ
Mommy,
マわかったママが
okay,
そう
if
言
you
う
say
な
so, mommy.
seemed to be good enough for her.
おじさん
Uncle, shouldn't we hide Kaguri somewhere until all this is
どこ
over?
かに隠れさせておくべきじゃない
そうだな
Maybe, but
だが
where?
どこに
If we were going to hide her, would it have to be at Lukako's house or Faris's place? Why not go to my hideout? Hideout? You've got a hideout? I've got lots of them thanks to my job. If you want one, it's yours. Alright, then it's settled. That okay with you, Kagari?
Yeah, alright.
The issue was that I couldn't leave Kagari alone.
私にも何かやらせてもらえませんか?
I don't know who you are because you've not come up as a known woman to me. Oh. You know, I'd momentarily forgot that Tazura had bruised you. Kinda wish you'd not shown up. You just complicate things now. I turned around and saw that at some point Yuki had entered the room.
Yuki-san.
Yuki!
Hashida gave me the key to the lab.
She showed us her key in her hand apologetically.
And last night, I called him and he seemed like he was really busy with something. So I brought him some snacks.
She put the key away, then showed us a bag with the logo of a local cake shop on it.
I don't know what's going on, but I was hoping there would be something I could do.
But we can't get you involved. No, she just has to stay with Kagari. It should be fine. Before I thought that maybe it was Yuki who'd attacked the lab. But looking back, that was wrong. If she was the woman in the motorcycle suit, there was no need to do something so elaborate. She could have just used the fact that she was in the same circle as Kagari to invite her somewhere and kidnap her. Which is exactly what I feel like is happening now. There was no need to take the risk of her attacking the lab. Thanks. Alright, Yuki, you stay with Kagari. I want you staying in Daru's hideout until all this blows over. He can tell you where to go. Once things calms down, I'll tell you what's going on.
Alright.
Yuki nodded. Now everything was ready. I looked around at everyone in the lab. Okay, guys. Now just follow the plan and...
Wait, Ocarine! Don't you want to say goodbye to Kurisu?
Goodbye. Amadeus was an artificial intelligence. She was an artificial being, not Kurisu herself.
Say goodbye, okay? So you won't regret it.
Mayuri handed back the phone I'd just given her. You're right. Can you all just give me a minute?
Okay.
I left Mayuri and Lukako behind and went to Akihabara Bridge. If I made contact with Amadeus, she'd know where I was. That's why I'd chosen this place. This was the first place I'd let Kurisu see how weak I was, back when everything seemed at its darkest. An advertising van passed by, blaring jaunty opera music at a loud volume that clashed horribly with its flashy paint job. I waited for it to get out of earshot before I tapped the Amadeus icon. She showed herself immediately.
Well, it's been a long time.
That's right.
I thought you'd forgotten me.
I hadn't forgotten. I could never forget. I've been... busy. How many goodbyes have I said now? I said goodbye to her again and again. But I'd never gotten used to it.
So, what is it today?
There was something I wanted to ask you.
What? You wanna know if you can make a time machine again? That was a joke. Keep going.
もしもだ
Just hypothetically,
もしも
if you could give up your life to save a
自分
friend's,
の命と
would you do it?
I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at.
答えてほしい
Answer me, please. She must have been able to tell from my words and expression that I was serious, because she took on a very serious expression as well.
That friend's someone important to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are still many things I want to do. Many things I have to do. But even so, if I could make that friend and the people around me happy, maybe I would.
Kurisu.
Sorry, I've never had that happen to me, so all I can do is imagine. Which means I can't give you a real answer, but if there was still one person who would remember me, if there was still one person who wouldn't forget. Anyway, forget about me. Forget about what happened today. Forget about everything that came before. That's what I want.
I can't forget.
Huh?
Never.
俺は決して
I will never forget.
忘れない
This was a vow. A vow to get me through the time to come.
Okabe?
つまらないことを聞いて
Sorry for asking something so silly.
No, I don't mind. Did something happen?
いや
No, it's
何でも
nothing.
ないんだ
Nothing.
何でもそれじゃあ
Anyway,
また
bye.
待って
Wait!
Huh?
Oh, no.
なんだか
It just felt like I was never going to see you
会えな
again.
くなりそうなそんな気がして
Kurisu,
そんなことはないさ
that's not true.
Of course, right?
私ったら
I don't know where I
なんで
got
急
that
にそんな
idea.
風に思ったんだろう
会えるさ
We'll see each other again. I promise.
Yeah.
That's right. This wasn't goodbye forever. I'd see her again. So I won't say goodbye. Not until I see you again.
また
See you again.
Yeah. See you again.
Kurisu. I've got no idea how long it will take. But I'm going to reach you. I promise. I went back to Mayuri and Lukako and gave them the phone.
お別れは済んだ
Did you say your goodbyes?
あ
Yeah,
それじゃあ
I'm counting on you
Hello.
guys.
Yep.
I watched them disappear into the crowded station and went back to the lab. That van was still playing its loud music as it drove down the street. Five hours had passed since the operation had begun. The only sound in the room was of Daru's fingers on the keys.
どうだダル
How's it going, Daru?
今のところ気づかれて
Doesn't look like they found us.
まだかかりそうか
Is it going to take a lot more time?
早くても3時間くらいは
At least 3 hours. Guess it wasn't going to be easy after all. Daru must have been exhausted, but he was still working. Mayuri and the others were sending me regular messages. Mayuri had paired off with Lukako and Faris with Suzuha. Since they knew each other so well, they were doing a great job of working together and running around Tokyo. Suzuha told me that she'd seen some shady-looking people several times. Moeka had sent me a message saying that they'd taken the bait. For now, the operation was succeeding without anyone getting hurt. But I didn't expect it to last forever. I wanted to get Kurisu's memory data deleted as fast as possible, but In the end, my only choice was to rely on Daru.
すまないなダル
Sorry about this, Daru.
それは言わない約束
You
だ
promised not to say that, buddy. I remembered how he looked 25 years in the future. Even in that far distant future, he was still my friend.
オカリンさん
Ocarin,
Chotto-yi.
can I have a second?
Until a little bit ago, Mao had been resting to recover from her exhaustion, but at some point she must have gotten up.
どうした
What is it?
これ見て
Look at this.
She handed me a stack of papers. It was a printout of Stratfor's report. She must have been looking for it after she'd woken up.
これは
What's this?
ストラト4によって
List of
被刑
Stratfor's
者としてリスト
experimental
アップ
test
された人たち
subjects.
の名前よ
There were rows of names, sexes, and ages on the other information.
ここ
Look here.
She pointed her small finger at one of the names. It said, Sheena Kagari.
椎名かがり
Sheena Kagari?!
彼女
She was one of
ストラト
Stratfor's
4の
guinea
モルモッ
pigs.
トにされていたんだわ
Of course, I'd known it was a possibility. That's why they'd been looking for her. And she'd had Kurisu's memories too. But still, it was one thing to suspect it and another to see proof.
だけど最終実験までに
But they
は
never
至ら
made
な
it
か
to
った
the
みたい
last phase of the experiments, it looks
その
like.
直前に脱走
They'd
した
say
と
she
書かれ
ran
たん
away
だ
just before they got the chance.
That made me feel a lot better. If Kagari had still had Kurisu's memories, I would have seen a repeat of what happened in the last world line. This must be another effect of the world line change. But there was still no doubt that she'd been in Stratfor's hands for years. And she'd been the subject of many experiments during that time.
少し心配
I'm
だ
a little worried.
Maho must have been thinking the same thing I was. Kagari was alone with Yuki at Daru's hideout right now.
誰だよこの忙しい時
Who's calling me now? I'm busy! The ringing that suddenly interrupted our conversation was coming from Daru's phone.
天主だどう
It's
したの
Maneshi. I wonder what's up. I had a bad feeling.
はいもしもし
Yes,
天主
hello?
どうしたん
Amaneshi, what is it? Did something happen?
え
Huh?
かがりたんが
Kagari-tan was what?
かがりがどうした
What happened to Kagari?
いなくなったって
She says she's gone.
何
What? I grabbed the phone out of his hands and put it up to my ear.
俺だ岡部だ
It's me, Okabe!
かがりがいない
Has Kagari really
ど
gone?
うか
岡部さん
I can't be. I'm sorry. I was right next to her.
一体どうして
What happened?
誰かに
Did she get kidnapped?
いえ
No, Kagami left on her own. I tried my best to stop her, but she was so strong.
すごい力で
自分で
On her own? What was going on? Was Yuki really... No, that was impossible. If Yuki was working for Stratfor, she wouldn't be calling me. But then why did Kagari run off on her own?
スピーカーモードにしてもらえる
Can you put him on speaker? I want to hear this too.
I hit the button to switch this call to speakerphone.
ユキさんかがりさんが飛び
Yuki,
出していく前
tell
の
me
状
more
況
about
を
what
詳
happened
しく
before
教えて
Kagari ran off.
何か
Was
変
there
わった
anything
ことはなかった
strange?
特には
No, we were just talking.
何か変な映像を見
Did
て
you
る
see or hear anything
もし
strange?
くは音とか
No.
待ってくださ
Oh,
い
wait, but come to think of it, I did hear some weird music from outside. It was like some kind of jingle from an advertising van. I remember it was being real loud.
For fuck's sake. The same van I'd seen. An advertising van? Was it the one I'd seen this afternoon?
それね
That's it.
さっきのファイルに書いてあったわ
I just read about that in the file.
ストラト4が
It was
行
one
っ
of
て
the
きた数々の
experiments
実験
Stratfor did.
その実験の中に
That
ブ
experiment
レインウォッ
involved
シングが含まれて
brainwashing.
いた
Brainwashing?
洗脳か
Brainwashing?
I think she might have been brainwashed to behave in a certain manner if she had a programmed source of music. That's the only way to explain why she'd run off on her own right now.
That song the van was playing. It was K620-5. The magic flute, sent to lead Kagari astray.
The file said that she was also an ideal candidate for the experiments and that they were still looking for her.
Damn it! They probably had vans like that all over Japan, not just in Akihabara. And she'd fallen right into their trap.
どうするオカリン
What do we do, Okarin? It was obviously Stratford that they'd gone after Kagari. Which meant that all we could do was... And then there was another call. This time it was to my phone. I had Faris prepare several phones for my use in this operation. One to use to call everyone. One to give to Kagari. And... The call was coming from the phone I'd given to Kagari. Probably wasn't from her, though. Who could it be? I don't think I recognize this one.
Okabe Rintaro, correct?
Oh, okay. The digitally altered voice made the caller seem even more eerie. Yeah, that's right. Who are you?
お前は
椎名係は我々の手中にあ
We
る
have Sheena Kagari.
交換条件
I
は
don't need to tell you what we want, do I?
Kurasu's laptop and hard drive.
考える時間をくれ
Give me time to think.
考える
Think?
何を
Think
考
about
える
what?
必要がある交換は明日だ
The exchange will take
場
place
所と方法
tomorrow.
は追って連絡する
We'll tell you where and how later.
They hung up.
クリスの PC とハードディスク
They
と
want to swap her for Kurasu's computer and hard drive.
でどうするん
So, what's the plan?